We're here to come in and download our experience and wisdom and systems and processes to you and your team. We're not interested in creating a dependency here. Mm-hmm. That's not the point.
Forget business. In life, when was the last time you were able to understand someone's expectations and meet those expectations without spending time with them?
I think if we're going to be great leaders and guides to both our clients and our team, we have to consistently work at understanding ourselves.
It doesn't matter if you have a done with you offer, done for you offer, an agency. It's always going to be
Welcome to the Ethical Scaling Podcast, your guide to navigating online business with integrity. Join Jay and Ben on this epic journey. Whether you're a seasoned pro or new to the game, get ready for insights, strategies, and a dash of humor. So grab your favorite beverage, cozy up in your favorite spot, and get ready to deep dive into the art and science of ethical scaling. From client success to boosting lifetime value. Plus, learn how to turn clients into your best advocates. Ready to scale ethically? Let's dive in.
All right, welcome back to the Ethical Scaling Podcast. And today what we're going to be talking about is relationships that scale. And we're going to talk about both client relationships and relationships with your team. So Jay, obviously you've been working with our clients for 3.5 years now. When it comes to client relationships, what are some of the fundamentals that have to be in place to really create strong relationships with clients?
First of all is understanding the importance of having those client relationships. And I think this goes back in time on how most businesses were built before. And the example I always use, most people had a barber and they would go to the same barber for 20, 30, 40 plus years. And nowadays, because there are so many options, basically online, I would say this was since the internet boom, there are so many options online that people forgot that there is more than transactional purchases. And it's fine, a couple of things you might have in your life, they're going to be transactional purchases, but think about the most relevant purchases you make. Those are the ones where you actually create a relationship with the company or whoever is representing that company. So if you want to have a long-lasting company where you maximize LTV, client lifetime value, you need relationships. Because just based on transactions, it's going to be very, very tough. Why? Well, think about it. There are only two possible scenarios in my view. If you have something in this market, an offer, and we're focusing a little bit more on service, less on products, but you can think in products as well. You can go mass market, minimum margins, low price, and run it at scale, lots of volume, and try to make it work. Think Amazon or Apple. Well, Apple has some solid margins, but let's think Amazon. And then you have the other side of things, which is you go high ticket, which is the kind of business we're looking to help most of the times. High ticket business, they can go with volume, but it's not going to be the same volume as Amazon. Yeah. They're going to have a luxury, high perceived value experience, but that needs to be based on relationships. That's how you increase the profit margins and the client lifetime value. Because we were talking about it yesterday off camera, and it's that old story that says the ones that have the most money to acquire a new client have full control over what is happening in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. And we already talked about client acquisition and how client acquisition is going to be important to be fully dialed in and understanding how acquisition can break everything. So going back, in order for you to actually scale ethically, and in order for you to understand what your clients want, deliver a great experience, but more than that, listen to what your clients want so that you can keep driving innovation.
Yeah, and we always see a spectrum with owners in terms of how they view client relationships, at least before they work with us, right? Some of them are well, it's my client's responsibility. They got to do the work, and
you have to step up.
Yeah, we give them everything they need to succeed, and there can be, kind of that like frustrated, like,
and it can work for some clients, but it won't work for Gen Pop.
right. So you've got that. And then you've got the other end of the spectrum that's like, oh, we've got to over deliver and, we got to
handhold the whole time.
Yeah.
Like do 100 calls a week, always be available 24/7. And yeah, both are extreme.
Yeah. And neither one of those in our experience is really the way. It's finding a place where you can understand expectations and meet them and help clients adjust along the way if needed. But it's like, we want to empower our clients, right? And it's something I say on almost every sales conversation I have. It's like, look, we're here to come in and download our experience and wisdom and systems and processes to you and your team. We're not interested in creating a dependency here. That's not the point.
Codependency is not healthy in any relationship.
Right.
Client relationships, in your personal relationships. And I think you said something that I want to go back and just repeat it again. Understanding expectations and meeting those expectations. In life, forget business. In life, when was the last time you were able to understand someone's expectations and meet those expectations without spending time with them?
Yeah.
Or building that relationship so you can understand expectations. Think about someone you love, your better half. You have to understand and spend time with them, lots of touch points, lots of interactions, lots of highs, lots of lows, to understand what the expectations are so that you can actually understand, okay, cool. Is this an unrealistic expectation? No, it's not. It's actually realistic. Cool. What can we do together to meet that expectation? And I want to underline the word that I just said, together. What you're creating with your client is a partnership.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you have a done with you offer, done for you offer, an agency. It's always going to be a partnership with your clients, or it should be a partnership with your clients. So if it's a partnership, we need relationships that scale with clients.
Yeah. Well, and we'll get a little like woo here for a second, but maybe it's not woo is not the right way to say it, but it's a little there's a little more depth in this in that I really think part of our responsibility as humans is to develop our self-awareness, right? And the way that I've found to do that is, quiet time, reflecting, I use meditation as well. There's lots of ways to do it. There's never one way. But I think if we're going to be great leaders and guides to both our clients and our team, we have to consistently work at understanding ourselves.
Self-leadership. You
Right?
talk about it a lot.
Yeah, because otherwise we're bringing our biases and whatever perspectives into our communication. And if we can't see like, oh, I'm doing this, which isn't serving this relationship, I got to adjust and show up differently, we can't further the relationship. And sometimes you're going to find that like you may have more self-awareness than the person that you're interacting with, but that's an opportunity to like be in compassion and empathy and say like, okay, I see that this person has a blind spot. I can't punch them in the face with that because that doesn't work. But how can I approach this relationship to potentially help them to see a new way or a new perspective or develop a new belief, right?
It's funny because this idea just popped in my brain. There is a very funny book that I love called The Art of Hunting Humans. Basically, the whole book, it's making fun of how manipulation works. And one of the things he talks about being very much self-aware, when you're very much self-aware and you understand people and you communicate well, what you're doing in your brain, you're creating more drawers. So you can organize information better. So you're going to be harder to manipulate because you understand all the input. You're able to organize the information correctly so people cannot manipulate you. On the other hand, if you only have two drawers and everything is black and white, you're going to be very reactive. Basically, it's like you're either with me or against me. And that's not the case with your clients. That's not the case with your team members. That's not the scenario that is happening as well. Like they just have a different worldview, a different perspective, a different experience. And if you want to scale, and this is something we actually do internally, and I actually say this a lot internally, I don't want mini J's. I don't want to replicate Jay internally in what regards to client fulfillment. I want someone to understand the principles I have been working for 3.5 years. and build from those principles and create their own variation within a system of what we know it works, but also allows them to bring their genius, their experience, their worldview to create even a better experience for our clients. Because again, I will have blind spots as well.
Yeah. Well, and you know, one of the things you mentioned, like you said drawers, like organizing the inputs, it kind of popped up this idea in my head of, you know, one of the things I've had to communicate at times with people is, you know, if I'm having a conversation, sometimes I have to say, you know what, I need a day to like process this before I make a decision here. Give me some time and space. And I think not everyone operates that way. Some people
do.
Yeah. But I think, again, that self-awareness is really important, because if I'm just feeling pressure to like, I got to decide now, and I don't give myself the space and time to process and be clear and go, okay, this is why I'm making this decision, or this is why I'm communicating this way, I think that can inhibit relationships, again, with team, with clients, in your personal life, et cetera.
And again, we focus a little bit more on client relationships because we know they're going to be, well, the baseline of everything you do. It will allow you to create a proper system to support your clients. It will allow you to understand the psychology of the client journey. It will allow you to increase your collections rate, your client lifetime value, reduce churn, having less tough conversations, or, well, you might have a lot of tough conversations, but at least less escalation to deal with. And that's going to be important. So I think now most people understand, okay, cool, it's 2024. We totally understand the importance of dealing with clients and handling clients and delivering a great experience. But I think there is also something else beyond that, which is cool. What about relationships with your team?
Yeah.
And you just want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah. And, you know, again, we work with a lot of owners, and a big part of that is helping them in their leadership with their team. And it's not hard, but I think sometimes we can forget the fundamentals of relationship, especially when it comes to team, right? So when I'm thinking about a team member, I want to do a good job of consistently understanding, like, hey, Jay, how are you doing as a person? Like, forget about the tasks and the responsibilities for a minute. Like, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? You are? Great. Okay, cool. What goals do you have? Is this role actually helping you move
Expectation management.
Yeah, it's expectation management. Are these goals helping you move closer to, is this role helping you move closer to your goals? If it is, great. You know, are there any like optimizations or things we can make? If it's not, like, what's going on?
And revisit often. You need to revisit that often. And I think that's the thing I see some companies dropping the ball. It's, I had that conversation in 2023. Well, now probably it's not far from where we're now, but in my experience, at least every 90 days, that deeper conversation, well, it should be an ongoing conversation, but at least go a little bit deeper every 90 days, because you would be surprised on how much those goals can change. Someone can say, hey, I want to make more money. And you give them more opportunities inside the company to get more of the upside and make more money. 90 days later, they're going to be stretched. They're going to be tired, completely different perspective. And now they will say, hey, Jay, what I really want now, it's more time. Cool. Let's see what we can do so that we can give you more time. And that's the ongoing conversation where you can understand what's productive and useful for the company, but what is also important and valuable for my team members. Because what I've seen in this space, and again, I think it's just because it's a brand new space, every business owner thinks their clients just want more money. And that's not true. And not their clients. I meant their team members. Their clients and their team members, but they think their team members just want more money. And that's not the reality. They might want more money, but at what cost?
Yeah. Well, and it's like, you know, for us, the last couple of months, we've had some significant growth, and, you know, Adam on our team has taken on a bunch more clients. So, you know, just earlier this week, I was like, hey, dude, let's hop on a one-to-one. Just want to see how you're doing. And because I know, like, his workload is expanding, I want to understand, hey, how's your energy? Are you like taking care of yourself in the way you normally do? Is there any support you need? You know? And again, as our team expands, it can become more challenging to do that. But that's why you have to look at like, how many direct reports do I have? Right?
I think that's people just think it can keep growing. If they have a manager, the manager will be on top of everything. No, like your manager, your client success director, your sales manager, your CMO, they're going to have a limit on how many direct reports they can have. Because if they have more than what they can handle, the challenge I see, there will be no quality control.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go on a tangent here, but I think it's important to understand that client relationships is one thing. And the way you do that is by understanding what the clients are going through, different archetypes, tracking client progress, gauging buy-in, and get everything in place. But for your team, it's the same thing. You need to find a way to track your team's performance so that you can give them quality feedback. And it needs to be really great feedback. And it can be quantitative, looking at KPIs, how they're doing. It's the retention on point, churn on point, and most clients are on track. But also qualitative feedback. If they have one-on-one interactions with clients, it could be, group calls, one-on-one calls, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, it doesn't matter. Are you looking at it or someone in your team so that you can say, hey, Jay, are you doing okay? Yeah. And they will give you feedback. Cool, I looked at your calls and this is something I think we can work on together. I think there is like some areas of improvement. Are you willing to go through that? Yeah, sure. And you come from a place of supporting your team. So if you're really doing that, you cannot have 100 direct reports. Right. That's not going to work.
Right. Well, and we were talking about one of our clients, right, that recently brought on their first CSM. So this owner was, overseeing sales team, doing all the fulfillment himself. We helped him hire his first CSM. She's come in. They're already getting more testimonials.
Trustpilot reviews, bunch of them.
Yep, Trustpilot reviews. She ran her first group call last week, and the clients were like, "Oh, this was amazing! Thank you so much."
And look at his calendar.
Yeah, and they showed us. He showed us his calendar, and he's gotten many hours a week back. And so, the reason I share this is because not only are the client relationships getting strengthened now that they've got one CSM, they're just about to hire a second CSM, but the owner's getting his time back. He and the CSM are in a really good flow. They're communicating, we can see them communicating well with each other. And this is the path for him to continue to grow and eventually scale, sustainably. Really.
Basically, your clients, if they're not working with you directly, if you're a business owner, they're going to be looking at how your team shows up. And your team will be, in their perspective, a reflection of you. So you need to build that relationship with your team so that the team understands how you would show up from an energy standpoint, so that they can actually step up. And they don't need to be you, like I said before, but they're going to be able to do so much that you cannot do because you don't have the bandwidth.
Yeah.
So you need those relationships. It's not optional. In my opinion, if you move from a startup stage and you're now growing your business, getting more clients, more new clients a month, a week, the next step is cool, can I keep nourishing these relationships with my clients? And am I nourishing the relationship I have with my team members?
Yeah. So, if we're looking at this and trying to figure out as an owner, okay, how do I take action on this, right? So the first thing is you need awareness. So what I would do is look at, okay, when it comes to relationships with our clients, how are we doing? And you're going to have a biased view. So if you have team, I would ask the team too, guys, how are we doing in our relationships with our clients? Where do you think we could do better? So digging into that. And then for you as an owner, looking at how is my relationship with each and every team member, right? And then from there, where can I improve?
Or how can I go deeper in that relationship? How can I create more intimacy with my team members? And a simple question could be, do I know what my team member wants in life?
Yeah.
If I have no clue, I have work to do.
Yeah.
It rhymes.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So guys, that's what we got for today on relationships that scale. We'll see you next time.